Hello, faithful viewer. I am Russell T. Davies, the writer and executive producer of this episode, and I'm joined by...
Hello, I'm Matt Savage. I was one of the concept designers on this episode of Doctor Who.
In the past tense, because he's left us and now works for Torchwood. Now, it's going to be very good fun listening and watching Matt doing this, because you haven't seen this episode.
No, not at all. I cannot wait.
Have you seen even a rough cut of it?
Nothing.
Oh, that's
Nothing.
weird. That's
seen
strange.
rushes and obviously the sets, but nothing cut together.
That bit there, Graham Harper, is a brilliant idea. He wanted it to look like the Sorcerer's Apprentice. That's why there's a great big shadow cast on the wall like that. And wait till you see this planet, Matt. Oh, my God.
Oh.
Isn't that marvellous?
They look like early Reaper designs in the background.
They do. They're manta rays, I think, because this is the mill pushing the boat out because there was no money allowed for monsters or creatures there. And they look in their files, they go, oh, we've got a manta ray. So we'll just dig that out. And it's amazing. Of course, you know what will happen now is everyone will say to us, why can't you do an episode set on a planet like that? Because every shot costs a fortune. That's why.
It's worth it. It looks absolutely beautiful.
Stunning, isn't it? And this is some cold Welsh beach.
Wow.
I didn't go on location for this, and I know they froze. Bless them. So, Matt, your job, Matt has moved on to Torchwood now, but concept artist, what happens in that art department? You get a script.
You get a script, and you have to make it real. It's the best job. I absolutely love it, and I miss Doctor Who tremendously. It is the hardest drug to give up. It's the job. I mean, there's a few of us. We waited our whole lives to do the job.
You're an old Doctor Who fan.
Oh yeah,
You're not that old. You've got a floppy fringe like a member of A1. It has to be said.
But the listeners won't know that yet.
And what did you, when you heard Doctor Who was coming back? Because you used to you really were a Doctor Who fan.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How did you
absolutely.
get in? We shouldn't tell people, as we'll be besieged.
Well, do you know what? My mum found out. My mum read the press release, kind of, October 2003?
Yeah, September 2003, yes.
And I was working on Batman at the time. That was my first big job.
Well, make us look like bobbins then. There I was, trying to tell the story of rags to riches, and you're like, riches to rags? Batman.
Well, I was like a runner in the art department, so I didn't do any drawing. My mum phoned me and said, I've read in the newspaper, Russell T. Davies, Julie Gardner, and she phoned BBC Wales and got me the number.
She never did. How brilliant.
She phoned me, because I only had a few months left, and she phoned me up and said, I've done the work for you, basically. Send the portfolio
But when you sent stuff in, then wasn't that on a pile of a million people?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Fortunately, someone I met on Batman, a guy called Dan Walker.
Yes.
Amazing designer. He did some console work, he did the Sonic. He was there. He got in. He got through the cracks, and
fantastic.
He went off to do Doom in Prague.
Oh.
And he basically hooked me up with the job I always wanted.
So we got you in for an interview. Let's come back to that. Let's have a look at Dr. Matt Savage continue later on.
Blah.
No, it's brilliant. I love all that stuff. Can I say how funny it is that we've been working together for 2.5 years now? I've never asked you that. It's just like you were just sitting there. Like, Matt, do this. Hello, Matt. Russell,
Draw me a Dalek.
Get on with it now. So here we are in Ed Thomas's not favourite set, the Tyler's Flat.
Oh, it keeps coming back every time.
Do you know, can I say, if Ed Thomas was here now, I'd slap him about the face and neck, because it's a returning set. It's a set, and then whenever it returns, he goes, oh, do we have to bring that back? And I'm going, what do you think a returning set is? It comes back all the time.
I haven't seen those ghosts yet. They look awesome.
Beautiful, aren't they?
Absolutely stunning.
Took a long time as well. They were like, it's hard, because it's like, I love them. Is that my boyfriend watched this the other day, and he ended up saying, why do they think they look like ghosts? Well, they don't look like ghosts. I was going, oh, shut up.
Yeah.
Too late now. It's all done. We spent a long time tinkering with the blackness of them, whether it should be grey or white.
Yeah.
White was corny. White was just rubbish,
Sure.
actually. And partly the point of these ghosts is that they are people want to believe that they're ghosts.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing about it. Did you do any ghost drawings for us? What did you do?
No, I didn't. I did a couple of things coming up which shouldn't really talk about yet.
Well, you can, because anyone listening to this will have seen it.
Oh, of course, I did.
Unless they're mad.
Unless they're absolutely barking. I did the big gun that Mickey...
Love the big gun.
Brilliant. A sci-fi gun. One of those things you wait for.
Well, that's what it was actually called in the script, the sci-fi
gun. And the big Genesis device that we see hover down with the Daleks at the end of the episode.
Which you don't really see at the end, but never mind, because that's a good hint for next week for what happens, because that's brilliant. This beautiful room. It's very... We never said this in the tone meeting. It's very James Bond, this episode. We didn't say it in the tone meeting, but we started saying it afterwards as these sets... and when you hear it with the music as well, it's really got that sort of James Bond size and feel to it.
Oh, it's huge.
It's massive. This set was enormous. It's like...
We had a picture of Ed at the far end of that room, and it looked like a location. It had that enough scale to look like a location.
Yes. It's funny, because I'm going to...
Oh,
look at that. It's beautiful, isn't it?
I'm going to say that all the way through.
I know, you're going to be like so annoying. Yeah, oh, look, there's Derek Okora in a minute when he comes along.
These are great, these cutaways.
These are a joy to do, actually, because you ask Trisha, do you want to be in Doctor Who? It's like, yes, straight away. Yeah. There's no arguing. And,
brilliant.
And everyone, and same with Derek Okora there. And I love that little bit of animation we did there for the ghost. That's ours. And it's like proper animation, isn't it?
Did the mill do that?
I think they must have done, yes.
Oh, look at that, Paris.
Yes, Paris and all the... I love all this sort of... I did a lot of this on the Second Coming, just worldwide news. It just always works, really, to tell a story. I've got one of those T-shirts. Slightly larger than that little girl's, it has to be said, but...
EastEnders.
Barbara Windsor. God bless her. Phoned me up to change a couple of lines. She was like, oh, I wouldn't say this, I'd say that. It's like, whatever you want, love. Off you go. It was... It's
amazing when you read all the different cameos, because we get the script and we read it, and it's, Derek Okora, Tricia, EastEnders.
You just think this will never happen,
don't you? Yeah, you do. And then, lo and behold, it's all there.
It's the one show that happens. It's very strange. It's like... And we appreciate it. It's like, seriously. And also, it sounds easier than it is. We've got to go to Elstree, shoot. Graham Harper, the director, had to go and shoot that separately long after everything else was shot. I think it was dropped in at the last... It was the last thing shot, so it was dropped in after the edit was finalised. After the edit was locked. So, although we get a lot of goodwill off people, it's always trickier than it seems. I went down to do Trisha. We did a bit of Trisha on the Second Coming, and I actually went to the studio myself. Sat there. They were lovely to me. They were very nice, as well as she was on ITV.
Yeah.
So I was on... And I was on an ITV show, so it was a lot more welcoming then.
What was the subject for the day on Trisha?
I'd better not say that out loud on a podcast. It was quite filthy. I quite enjoyed, I don't know if they ever transmitted that one. It got a little bit out of control. It was like, and I always remember them saying on Trisha, it was like, they had, at the time, I don't know if this is true now, they had all the local taxi drivers were like in their employ. So if anyone left the studio saying, we fooled them, we faked our story, the taxi drivers are listening.
Really?
Because they're genuinely not allowed to show fake stories. It really is, against television law.
It's very serious TV.
And yeah, the taxi drivers are like moles. We probably won't be able to transmit that
no,
because I've just ruined it for them, but there we go. Graham Harper's favourite shot, man with feet on desk. Ever since I've known Graham, everything he does a shot with someone's feet up on a desk. He's quite obsessed with it.
Did he do it in 5 and 6? I can't remember.
He does it with the Doctor later on. No, you've got me now. I don't think anyone stops for long enough in 5 or 6 to do that. Lumic couldn't, obviously. He would have if he could have, though.
Graham had so much energy. He was like a force of nature.
He is amazing. And he did our only 4-episode block. The first Sideman 2-parter, The Rise of the Sidemen, The Age of Steel, and this 2-parter were all shot as one. And he's the only director ever to do 4 episodes. And it was
huge.
We're not actually doing 4 episodes again next year because it was like, although it's paid off beautifully, it was too much hard work for everyone. Do you remember those tone meetings?
They went on for
the survivors,
literally days.
Survivors reading the dead. It was just ridiculous. We were like people released from Tenko at the end of it. We were running through the bamboo. It was just balmy. Now here there's a sphere. This sphere, we're not seeing the picture that the viewer will see. We're seeing an early version of the sphere.
Oh, okay.
So don't worry, it looks a bit better than that. What we're looking at now looks like a giant pearl.
Yeah.
If not a balloon, it looks like the balloons that chase the prisoner down the beach in Port Myrian. So we've sent it back to be dark. I've seen the darkened one out. It's much more
cool,
metal.
It's very Prisoner, isn't it? Which is coming back, apparently.
Apparently, so they say. I wonder. I think it's one of those things you believe. It's the funny thing about the size of these sets. I always wonder. See, I think they're the most massive sets in the world. I still don't believe we ever get them to look as big as they are.
No.
And I over 2 years now I've been puzzling about it, and it's like, and also I think it's probably because I keep on sort of describing these sets as great big long rectangular shapes, and sometimes I wonder if they don't look that long and that deep because they're rectangular. Whereas, because I always notice, like in The Girl in the Fireplace, where those corridors of the spaceship are laid out at a zigzag, so people have to move through it. That looks, and there's a couple of shots on that where it looks endlessly deep and because it's not a straight line.
Yeah, and the ward in New Earth. That was curved, and that looked very big.
That looked big, and they look bigger than these. And that room is partly it's also our fault as well. It's like because the script very clearly says all the desks are bunched at one end of the lever room. The script actually says they're all down one end as though they're scared of the wall. It's like they're in awe of it slightly. But now, when you look at that, it's actually, that room would look bigger if there was a little tiny extra, especially if it was Jimmy V. It's like if you put someone very, very short down the far end of that, it would help it to make it look larger. Because it's white and because there's no one standing there, it simply doesn't look that big.
I'll tell Edward tomorrow. I've got an idea. How to make the sets bigger.
Say, Ed, Russell's did a podcast, so you got all your sets wrong. And it was my fault. I've got big rectangular rooms like that. And and what is nice about this is that the sphere room matches the sphere room downstairs, when it's all very dark, and the lever rooms upstairs, it's all very white. And, we wanted that. The lever room was one of those very rare sets where we said, actually, make it look science fiction-y. Make those levers gorgeous and the desks gorgeous, and, although this is modern day. And it doesn't look too futuristic, but you can go a little bit zhuzhy.
That was one of our set designers called Al Robertson.
Al Robertson.
He's a great guy. Very, very clever.
Was that the lever room?
He did the lever room and the sphere room.
Oh, brilliant. Because the sphere room's so clever, because it's actually got the colours of the Daleks in there.
Yeah.
Actually, it's like lever room's slightly Cybermen-y.
Yep.
And sphere room's slightly Dalek-y, which is fortunate, really. They both end up in either room.
Absolutely.
If that sphere had ended up in a different place, they'd be going, I don't match the walls.
That's
I'm off.
Edward for you. He's always looking at the bigger picture. Where I'm normally honed into a prop or something. He's thinking of the vista, the colours, the moods.
Clever man.
And I didn't get it because we were going to have a black Dalek, and I didn't. He wants black and gold, and I didn't get it until.
Oh, I see. Until that. Oh, look what's here at Freeman now. The lovely Freeman. Freeman Agnew, and there's the Cyberman. We spent a long time debating whether to put that Cyberman shot in. That wasn't in the script. It says she pulls aside the curtain and screams. And Graham shot the Cyberman. He was right actually, because you cannot keep a secret on this show. It's like everyone knows the Cybermen are coming back. And actually, there's a certain value, I think, in knowing the Cybermen are coming back. I mean, lots of kids and stuff loved them in 5 and 6, and there's a great pleasure in
sure.
They're returning, and they're much more science fiction monsters this time. They've got guns in their arms and stuff like that. So it's like, we should have Ed here for this. How much did Ed love these cones?
The cones, it was the backpack he had a problem with. It's,
yes.
The cones, designed by Peter McKinstry, a good friend of mine.
That slacker.
He's a lazy boy.
Bless him.
If you look at the base of them, it's a TARDIS rondelle.
Yes.
So he was suggesting, because we were trying to design them and we didn't know what to do. And I think you scripted them as Gallifreyan technology.
I just said like they were part of the TARDIS, I think. I didn't want them to look like gizmos. I wanted them to look natural to the Doctor's sort of thing. Because he doesn't do this often. He doesn't often get... No. It's quite unusual for him to do this. And what went wrong with the backpack? I don't mind the backpack. Ed had 40 fits over it. We got emails saying, I apologise for the backpack.
Yeah, I mean, because coral is a Gallifreyan texture.
And a lovely one.
So the Sonic, the console. And then we had a backpack, and someone crackle glazed it and made it look like a coral rucksack.
I love the way you say someone under portion. I think I know. I mean, I love Ed for being such a perfectionist. It's like we got this email and we were slightly mystified, saying, "What's wrong with the backpack?"
I think he would have preferred an old, broken down leather rucksack that he found somewhere.
That's true.
He's so eclectic with the whole TARDIS stuff he's found that works that he keeps. And
I always prefer props like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Old, battered things. They're always much better. But it's not. Bless Ed, it's not quite the heartache that.
No, he's a perfectionist. He loves all his details.
He's a brilliant man.
You'd be amazed. You should record the conversations we have.
Really,
they go on for days and days and days about
the smallest thing.
About the smallest thing.
Brilliant.
No one will ever pick up on it, but if Ed sees it, it would give him a massive headache. So.
I love that. Though. I think they do pick up. I think you might. Subconsciously, you pick up design.
Yeah.
You might not be able to verbalise it or rationalise it, but if there's an ethos there, it sinks in. I think integrity is the word I'm after. I want to be pretentious, but it gives something an integrity, not a posh integrity. If something's meant to be very funny, then it adds to the funniness. If something's meant to be very colourful, it adds to the brightness. It's just integrity. It's like so. He gets a script. Does he? I asked this to Peter, and he didn't answer me properly because he's a liar and a fool. But it's like, does he allocate? Does he say, Matt, you are doing the gun? Or do you pitch?
It's not a pitch.
What do you do?
It's not quite as regimented as that. I mean, you always get the hero stuff that...
In other words, we could sack half of you.
Yeah. Well, we ponce about, we'll have a cup of tea, we'll read the script again.
Again?
Me and Pete are pretty civil. It's pretty obvious the things that you want to design.
Is it, though?
Oh, yeah. Sci-fi gun.
But doesn't he go all sci-fi gun? What happens if there's an argument?
Well, we both have a go.
Yes.
We'll battle royale normally. We'll
I have seen drawings of the two of you.
Yeah.
And then you, because we have a funny working relationship because it's an email working relationship. But you'll say, obviously Ed sees it all, but then you email it to me,
Yep.
and I'll go no, and I'm always sending emails saying make it more obvious. That box was a lot of fuss. That's a replacement box.
Oh yeah,
that's
wasn't
a new box. That box with the Doctor's hand, which might not even be the Doctor's hand, because it was shot months afterwards because the original box.
It was worse than the backpack. It was an absolute nightmare.
It was a shoebox. Arwell won't mind me saying this. It was a shoebox.
Well, the worst
it was like a brick.
It had dials on it. And one of the dials was an ear pod from episode 5 and 6.
Painted black.
And I don't know how it slipped through the net, but the first time we saw it was on the rushes.
On the rushes.
Ed just put his head in his hands and started making phone calls.
And I think it's on the Daily Report of that day's filming. I think Arwell's written Phil not too happy with box.
Loss and damage, my job.
So we went out and actually it's a lovely box now, but
yeah,
it is.
Oh, that was Peter again, that box.
A very rare, weak moment.
Oh, it was an ear pod. It was blatantly an ear pod.
It was.
And because of the carriers...
I have to say, you say that, I know ear pods back to front, and I didn't actually spot it. It looked like a big old button to me, so, you can be
that's good.
Perfect.
You can be.
Well, no, I'm glad we did it again, because that one. Now, here we had a dub this line of Oliver Mellor, yeah? Nice actor. He says the camera is within 50 yards, and actually in the original script, because I'm stupid, he said it's within 50 metres, but later on, Yvonne says that Torchwood only uses imperial measures. They don't use meters. And so I was stupid. So we had to get Oliver Mellor in and dub that line, make it yards, because...
TARDIS looks good.
Gorgeous. Graham shoots the TARDIS.
Very differently, isn't it?
Everyone does, really. Everyone's got a slight... That's what I like about that set. Everyone's got a slightly different take on it. And to be honest, I don't think anyone's shot it badly.
No.
It's just lovely.
But you can't... Well, as soon as you move the camera, you get wonderful shapes. Everything in there moves, all the different buttresses, the angles. It's not in any way a studio set.
You do get the size of them sometimes. I look at the size of this. It is quite... Obviously, that sphere, the sphere's put in, but so is the entire wall around it. They're looking up at a blank space. You know that. You know that, faithful podcast listener. You're wise to our ways now. Episode 13, we'll just do it shorthand. We'll just say, oh yeah, DMP. That. Hooray for Jackie being on board the TARDIS.
Camille, wonderful.
Gorgeous woman. I do wonder what she's perched on that shelf why she didn't fall off when it shuddered earlier. But never mind. We'd have had Jackie with a broken neck for the whole thing.
And like the interior TARDIS, you can't shoot the police box badly. It always looks good.
Every angle. It's true, isn't it?
It does wonders for any composition. Just put the box in there.
I do love the TARDIS here. I love it specifically when you see the lights shining through the roundels. There's often... I know it's busy and time is a nightmare on this show, but... You often get a lot of shots where there's no light coming through the roundel, and they drive me mad, those shots. It's like, just shine anything through it, because it just looks gorgeous then. I remember Louise, our costume designer, by the end of a series that had been driven to distraction by how many different soldiers' uniforms. She's going, what can I do? And she's got more different soldiers' uniforms arriving next week, and there were soldiers in the streets. And I'm like going, they can't be like unit soldiers, and they can't be like regular soldiers. What the hell do I put them in now? So she came, and I liked it. She came up with a lot of Torchwood. We decided the colours were black and silver and very classy, posh colours. Classy was our tone word for this.
Classy,
wasn't it?
It was.
That was it. I get very wary of, when there's a lever room in a great big science fiction organisation, it all becomes flashing lights and neon tubes, and suddenly Yvonne's dressed up in a diagonal zip-up boiler suit or something. So I always sort of want to calm it down and say keep it classy, keep it real. And actually, those uniforms they fit in with the black and the white and everything. It's we've got the
and the lever room's very classy, isn't it? It's like a really beautiful office.
Oh, it's beautiful. I love those bulbs. Whose idea was those bulbs above their desks?
Probably Julian. Julian Luxton, set decorator.
He's a marvel,
and he's a Doctor Who veteran there.
Yes, he is. But I think they're so clever, those bulbs.
They're beautiful.
Stark. And you look at them and you think, well, why don't I have a desk like that? Why do you bother with a lampshade? You'd probably get blinded. In fact, if you really had that. But
it's all very good, but Tortured Cardiff's awfully better than that.
Is it really, man?
It's much better than that.
Because these are the dark days of Torchwood.
Absolutely.
As we speak, when I what are we on to? We were 4 episodes into Torchwood, and about 3 and 4 together. With a tone meeting tomorrow for the next 2 episodes.
Yeah, cool.
Which are good.
Very good.
Very good episodes. Which is a very different sort of Torchwood. I won't go into it too much, but this is the original Torchwood set up by Queen Victoria, as she explains later. But there's a great big fanfare of music there that I love.
That's great. I haven't seen any of that yet.
Oh, of course, that's the Jathar sun glider.
Yeah.
Look at venting steam.
Oh, it's beautiful.
But look at all the little people on the. If you have a look at those shots, apart from the obvious spaceship thing, there's like little gantries with little people standing. And they're all put in by the mill. There's no one exists on that set above floor level.
Brilliant.
Everyone's on the floor. But if you see it, and you see more of it next week, you see people falling off again next week. There's little people dotted about the place. And
now Jackie's masquerading as Rose, isn't she now?
She is, which I was dying to do. And that's why, because I wrote this before I wrote Love and Monsters. Oh, you haven't seen Love and Monsters?
I have.
Because in Love and Monsters, because I wrote that, because all the way through this, I was sort of thinking, we're on a very slender premise here that Torchwood are so well researched in the Doctor, but they don't know about his companions. And they believe that each other with Jackie. And I was like, I was a little bit, you're getting by on a bit of a promise there. But then when I went after this, when I wrote Love and Monsters, I had a chance to have Victor Kennedy, saying that the bad wolf virus had corrupted Torchwood's files.
Oh, cool.
So they didn't know anything about the Doctor's companions.
Sure.
Which then was the work of the original Bad Wolf, Rose, back in who was creating a situation whereby, subconsciously, of course, as the Bad Wolf, which was creating a situation whereby the Doctor and Rose could survive this situation within Torchwood, by Torchwood not knowing who Rose Tyler was.
You should write this stuff down.
Do you know? You'd think I planned it.
There's a TV show now.
Isn't it mad? I'm sitting there with the absorber off going, I've just found a way to make sure they don't know who Jackie is. Who Rose is. That's such a Graham Harper shot. Look.
Yeah.
Great big eyeball. There are all sorts of fascinating objects dotted around this place that have been littering the set ever since, haven't they? This place is full of robot heads.
Look at that TARDIS on a truck.
It's nice, isn't it?
Always wondered how heavy the TARDIS is, because I always imagine it's the densest object in the universe.
But then there's been all sorts of episodes where it's been carried, haven't there?
Yeah. Episode 2 last year.
Oh, yes, those little kids carried it, didn't they? Yes. I was thinking of Full Circle, where Marshmen carried it up a mountain in 2 minutes flat. There we go. I'm a classics boy.
I know. I'm among friends. It's great.
They always used to have different rules about that, and sometimes the Doctor would say it weighs the size of a planet or something, and then a Marshman would lug it about. I think it weighs what a wooden box that size weighs. Sure. That's my thinking. Thank you very much. Here's Freema getting up to evil things. Never email in the office, you see. Office romances always lead to cybernization.
Great graphics again from our buddies in BBC Graphics, who work very, very hard.
They're good people.
They really are. They put in crazy hours like all of us.
Yeah, do they?
Well, I mean, they're normal 9 to 5 people, but they do shooting hours. They're very, very good. And
again, it's like, it's a different style of graphics for every Doctor Who episode.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That's what's brilliant about it. And there's never been a graphic we're disappointed with. We changed our minds about things. Yeah. Sorry, could you do this instead of that? But you've never gone, that doesn't work. They're very clever. I don't know where. I wasn't here for awful lot of this. I was still writing the episodes that we filmed afterwards, like Love and Monsters, so I missed an awful lot of this location shoot. That's the studio. That was a real corridor. Now we're into it.
Oh, it's a brilliant corridor, isn't it?
The door's lovely. I think that's a really classy, big science fiction door.
Do you recognise that door?
Where's that from? Oh, was it Dalek?
It's from the Dalek cell, yeah.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. Of course it is. Wow.
I'm going to shout all my friends, like Ben Austin designed that last year.
Of course. Yeah. Do you know, at the back of I didn't recognise it, but at the back of my mind, I just think, that old door.
Yeah. But it's fine because, it's a door that holds Daleks back.
Was that your thinking? No.
That was a bit clever.
That was like me and a bad wolf virus just rewriting the past then.
You get used to it. Me and Ed make up amazing things every day because we have to.
It's true. I know. So do we.
It's great.
The logic of it.
Love the 3D glasses. That's a great touch.
And nice, aren't they? Which aren't just a gag. They turn out to be very important next week. It's nice the way he's the only sort of character who could get away with putting on 3D glasses and no one stopping him saying, "What are you doing?" Because he's a bit balmy. And actually, it turns out to be.
We'll have to do a 3D episode now.
Oh, can you imagine? like that children need one they did where the camera just kept on moving. The entire keep the camera moving. What I love here is that gold is scuffed. I love that. That's very typical of our whole Doctor Who world. That it's not too brand new.
No.
You know, everything's been used. And, you know, they must have hauled that sphere down from 600 feet.
Unless you're doing a very obviously clean set and it's clean for a purpose.
Yes.
You just don't buy a clean location.
Only the New Earth Hospital is the only spotlessly clean one we've done. Because it's a hospital and it would be sort of sterile and clean. And it looked very different as a result. But
I think Pompadour ship started off as a clean exotic ship, didn't it? And then it became...
Yes, it was started at the Girl in the Fireplace spaceship. In the original script was a Starship Enterprise type ship. And I think, or at least Stephen talked about that, but they're just... The funny thing is, to do something like an Enterprise ship, that's one of the most expensive things you can do. Because the finish and everything's got to be... Everything's got to be moulded, the doors have got to be perfect. It's actually much more within the budget range of a program that's different every week to do things that are knocked down and broken a bit slightly because, you know, you build a very expensive Enterprise, but you have it for the whole season. Whereas we chuck it away. Back into Hell. I love that edit. That's Dave Cresswell's a lovely editor. That bit where the Doctor stands there is really dynamic. And,
it's always a privilege to go to the sets because they're only ever up for, at the most, a week or 2 weeks.
At most, isn't it? 2 weeks most, I would think.
It's always a real privilege to go down. And when they're dressed, because we hire the dressing that will come down. You know, tables will only be there for 3 or 4 days.
It is amazing, isn't it?
And then they're gone again.
I remember going on that because I hadn't seen anything of that Pompadour spaceship actually, and then it was like I was with you. You took me on set. You said come and see this, and it was gobsmacking. The level of detail, all those buttons and everything. Obviously, this is the simplest set in the world. Polythene, marvelous.
You have to have
everything
polythene with Cybermen. It's the law.
No, do you know why I did that? I did that because I loved. Funny enough, obviously subconsciously, I know there was a polythene, but it was of Messiah. That Messiah program where people get butchered on a bank holiday for our entertainment. Women are strung up in grisly ways, and they did an episode set in a rundown hospital where part of it was being renovated, and the murderer was working behind. They were like builders, polythene sealing off a corridor, and I thought it was so beautiful. It was so brilliantly done. It was a rubbish episode, but the visuals of it were so fantastic. I just thought, I'm going to have that. And then come Cybermen, who do have a history of breaking through polythene, and it just sort of all made sense there. We missed the sarcophagus then, the Pyramids of Mars sarcophagus.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
I was so busy talking to you, you were looking deep into my eyes, that by the TARDIS, there was obviously a remnant of some technique.
Right.
It
Brilliant.
was in the script. It said sarcophagus. I didn't expect it was doing that.
I was taking the scale of that. I think it was an RAF hangar.
Yes, it is. That's right.
And I think they gave us bits of cockpits and fuselages.
There's all sorts of...
Yeah, they were really, really generous.
Amazing things, aren't there?
The levers look good, don't they? They're good fun.
Love the levers. Absolutely love them. They did. It's funny, those levers. They're just exactly what I imagined. Absolutely exactly.
Job done.
Job done.
Go home now.
Beautiful. Yes, that's it. Go on, show how big that set is. See, you can push that camera around.
Yeah.
Show it a bit deeper. Go on. This is where Jackie's about to discover them. Canary Wharf, except they're not. They're in a Newport studio. Of course. Stuck on the floor, and there's a nice little...
We didn't shoot at Canary Wharf, did we?
Yes, we did. We got these... there's a shot in a minute, which is from... Where is it? It's this shot here. That is from The Apprentice.
Is it?
You know The Apprentice, where they did the most fantastic helicopter shoot around London, which is beautiful. You know, those beautiful shots they have. And it was extraordinarily cheap to buy off them. We had the whole, proper standard industry rates, but it's such a good helicopter shoot. I thought they'd charge, £1 million a minute. And it was at normal rates.
Wow.
Have it, off you go. So,
see, Alan Sugar should run Torchwood.
Alan Sugar probably does run Torchwood. We should have him as a guest.
Cybermen make good workers.
And it's handy saying you're on the top floor of the Canary Wharf, because then you can just have a blue cyc outside for the windows and not see endless backdrops and things like that.
See, I don't know that worked that well, that window. If I'm going to nitpick, that's
neither do I. But there's no way around it, because I don't think you'll ever shoot a studio window looking onto sky that's completely convincing. And this has to, the window. Look at that glass, isn't it?
That's beautiful.
The windows and the location of this are very important next week in episode 13. Yes, I know what you mean. Ideally, it could have all been underground like the Sphere Room. And certainly, we could talk a lot about that if we do a podcast. Well, we will do a podcast for episode 13. The view out the window becomes a nightmare next week. The hemorrhaged money at various moments. But And in fact, we never had enough money to spend on it. But what can you do? What can you do? Never mind. Wish for the moon.
That's a great sequence with the glass. He has a great. I mean, it's a script explaining what's going on with what he has in the room. It's great, very human.
David just handled it brilliantly. He's at his best now. He just a cup of tea, lovely. That's the lovely Freema. Counting down. See what I mean? Like that shot of Yvonne, if there was someone behind her.
Yeah.
Even though it's a single, that's not the best example, but you don't see the depth of it, do you?
No.
It's funny. And I'm not blaming Graham for that at all. I think, well, and actually a lot of the time, we're aching for like 35mm visuals.
Yeah.
Genuinely, it's like you're asking for the sort of if you could these marvellous directors because have a schedule where they did 1 minute a day or 1 page a day.
Which is what you do in a film.
Yes, then you would start to show off these Ed's lovely sets even better. So it's heartbreaking sometimes that, we're on the sort of schedule, you'd make Waking the Dead on this sort of schedule, and we've got effects every 10 minutes.
Well, it's essentially a film, isn't it? Every week is like a mini movie.
But it is exactly what we're making, is a movie every week, and it's sort of back-breaking for a lot of people, but that is the ambition.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I go and see some blockbuster films that are not as good as these.
Well, I read your pitch document when I started. Actually, 2 years ago. It's my 2-year anniversary on Doctor Who.
Hey!
And I read your document, and every week was like a mini movie.
Well, yes, aiming big, I suppose, because it's a hard market with a lot of competition, and you've got to find your niche for Doctor Who and make it fit.
Yeah.
This is very hard to shoot. This is like we had see the earlier bit in the hangar where Rose first sees this figure who turns out to be Mickey. We reshot and then we reshot again. It's very, very hard to show. And what the script says is she sees someone she thinks is familiar and then thinks it can't be and follows him, not giving away the fact that it's Mickey. And that's really hard to shoot and it's really hard to make believable. And then, of course, you factor in the fact that they're both wearing white coats, so you actually get confused in long shots. When people disappear in the distance, you get confused as to who's going where. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
That looks like a very simple page, and it causes more hassle than fleets of fighting outer space armies in this thing. It was weird. Here she comes into the big set. That's the Dalek door. You've ruined it for me now. No, actually, you've made it for me now. I shouldn't say that. Hooray. Lovely Murray.
Is that Alex Fort's handiwork there? The matte shot looking up?
It's not. I don't know whether the sphere's not completely 2D. It's got. There was some.
Course.
I don't know if Alex did the rest of the room. I think Alex Fort certainly did the planet at the beginning because he's brilliant at that sort of stuff. I think the rest of the map painting for the sphere was more easily assembled out of elements already there. Basically
it's a continuation, isn't it?
Yeah, someone else would have done that, I think, but I don't know. And like I said earlier, we are watching the wrong sphere now.
It's like EastEnders meets Doctor Who.
I don't know what you mean. A criticism that's never been levelled at this programme.
Oh, it's not a criticism at all.
Hooray, there's Mickey. We had to add that there's a little fanfare music there that Murray didn't do, and we got to the final dub, and Julie just went, well, it's Mickey, we need something, we need a fanfare. So we stole that from some long-forgotten episode.
Noel absolutely loves his story arc this year. He
does, doesn't he? Happy as Larry.
And it's great. I loved it when he stayed in 5?
Yeah, 6. Yeah.
I thought that was just wonderful that he grew up and...
Nice scenes for him as well. Nice.
Really, really special.
What did I say? 2 feet on the desk. Graham Alper. Off he goes. And it's like when we took Noel out for dinner after Series 1 and said, yes, we want to come back and this is what will happen and Parallel Universe and Sidemen and blah, 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 blah. We were out for dinner with Camille as well, actually, in central London. And I was, it's about 11 o'clock at night now, and we've had a bit to drink. And I'm going, in episode 12, you've got a great big gun! Like that. And that's what turned him on. That's when he signed the napkin and agreed to do the job. He's going, oh, that's so cool. I was going to do a great big gun, and there's an army of Cybermen facing you. It's like, and the other man, he got very excited. As did I. Quite right, too.
I used to hang around the art department a lot when he was doing this, and he'd take drawings of the gun and the Cybermen. He loves all that stuff.
Oh, he's nicked after them. They're all on his wall. I tell you now, he's got them. Oh, look, horrible death coming up before Freeman. See those light bulbs? They're brilliant.
Yeah, Julian.
Aren't they clever?
Yeah.
Look at them in a little cage.
It's amazing what him and the other decorators do. They just give it, a way to believability. Is that a word?
Yes, just yeah. It's just stunning how. I keep on saying this. One day we must do a podcast saying how bad everything is. But we'll do that when we do a bad episode. Frankly, so sue me. It's just lovely work. And everyone does work 200%, I think. How many earpieces have you designed now?
Oh, do you know what? I've just done.
Did you do those?
I've done another one. I didn't do those because I'm not sure where they came from.
Oh, are they real?
I think they're real.
Oh.
But I've just done my 5th earpiece on Torchwood. I've done 4 on Doctor Who.
Right, that was after I sent the original earpieces back.
Yep.
They got. I warn you now. In Torchwood, in the first episode, there were these earpieces, and I had to send this email to you, Matt, saying you're ruining the line of John Barrowman's jaw. It's like you've got the most handsome man in the world, and you've got this blinking line.
We've had many
ruining him
on an earpiece to flatter a jawbone.
So nice now. I like those ones.
Yep.
They're gorgeous now, but it was a funny email to send. It must behave.
It's one of those things when you do a sci-fi show, earpieces come up every other week. It's a staple, especially now with Bluetooth and everything.
Yeah.
I like that graphic again.
Nice. It's lovely, that one.
Really good.
Spheres active. Oh, the music started picking up now, and the tempo and everything. It's like it's heading for.
It's great. It's a reading, because we get the scripts as they're finished, as they're distributed, and reading this one. And because we had this one right in the middle of the production. We had this way before, what followed Satan Pit, Idiot Science. So we had it ages ago. It's just like, for a Doctor Who fan, it's a Christmas present every couple of weeks.
It was my decision to do that, really. I still wonder if I was right, really. That it was because of the Sidemen. I said, if we're doing 4 Sidemen episodes, why don't we put all 4 together? And it was backbreaking, I have to say. And it also broke my back because I had to write 12 and 13 earlier in the year than I would have written 12. Normally I'd be writing 12 and 13 October, November, December, and then into January. Whereas I must have started on these, I can't think, June, July, August, September, to get them ready for filming in November.
Yeah.
So what seemed very wise at the time was crippling for all of us in the end.
It seemed to go on for a year as well.
Yes.
What did we shoot for 8 weeks?
Yes. More than 8 weeks in total.
Yeah, it must be. And it was over Christmas as well, so we had a...
that's right. So it felt like the block that never died.
Oh, look at that.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Brilliant.
I think they got little standing knives on there.
Right, cool.
They've got little blades on their gloves to allow them to cut through because they're too wimpy in real life to manage to do that. CGI mill sparks bouncing off them there.
They look like a wall. When you get more than one Simon, it's just like a metal wall of evil.
They're such a lovely colour, I think. I just think they're gorgeous.
Yeah.
Everything's happening now. Sphere Room's kicking off. Marvellous. It's cliffhanger time. It wasn't just Sidemen, of course. It was like, it was Noel as well. And it was like if we film 5, 6, 12, and 13 together, because it's always a danger with people like Noel and Camille and other people who ask back sometimes, like Pete, Sean Dingwall. Is they're not under regular contracts.
No,
if they got look, Cyber Guns, how exciting!
Cyber Leader as well.
Hooray with black handlebars! But if they got jobs, say if Camille was cast as a mum in EastEnders tomorrow, it's that you've lost her. It's like her agent and Camille herself are very lovely to us, and we try and anticipate when we need them and build space into the schedule. But we can't. You never stop an actor getting other work. See the people on the gantries. Look, little people. They're all put in. Put in, like I used to say when I was a child. They're put in.
Now, I don't know if you know this, but Peter McKinstry was actually a Cyberman.
Was he?
He spent they came up to the art
little.
He is just
a little one in there. Everyone's little to me.
He is Cyberman number 9.
Peter. In which scene?
I think the exterior stuff coming up.
And did we pay him for that?
I believe so. He was a proper SA for the day.
Was he?
Yeah.
No, what I mean is, did we not pay him for the art department for that day?
Oh, his wages were docked.
Good.
Oh, absolutely.
That's all I'm checking on.
And that money went back into the set.
Good.
So.
That's all I need to know. Mickey's got a very funny little hood thing on his jersey.
I was going to say, I like his top.
I know, I'm only pointing this out because we cut the shot where he actually sort of pulls the hood around himself. He does it round now.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And so when you next cut to him, someone somewhere will say, look, that's bad continuity on Mickey's top. Whereas it's not. It's just, we couldn't be bothered showing the bit where he adjusted his collar while the world was ending. It wasn't the most important thing happening. Look at because you haven't seen this. Look at the Sidemen.
It's stunning.
Look at that.
It's so exciting. And that's entirely CG, all those...
yes, they are. Yes.
Because there was a debate for a long time whether Dave and Will were going to do a CG Cyberman.
For a long time, we could not afford to do a CGI Cyberman at all, and then they're just miracle workers.
Yeah.
In fact, I rewrote a lot of scripts taking the CGI Cybermen out and things like that, and then, blah, 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 put them back in. And of course, you couldn't do this stuff otherwise.
Just going back to Rose's estate there, that top-down shot, one of the reasons Ed chose that location, when you look down from up there, which Keith did, you get almost TARDIS footprints in the brickwork.
It's those X's
yeah,
like the roof.
Yeah.
It's clever, isn't it? Look, I think this is such a scary moment because it's what you've always dreaded,
Brilliant.
a Cyberman in your own house.
It's my favourite kind of Doctor Who imagery.
Yeah.
Anything alien in suburbia or in your bedroom or...
Well, I love that because I think that's the point of that is he's running to his bedroom where you think you'll be safe.
Yeah.
And the Cyberman's already upstairs. He's not going up the stairs.
Great.
It's already there, and I think that's like... Actually, as we record this podcast is the day we finish the dub on this, and I can't tell you how many arguments we've had with music cues. Not arguments, lively debates about there's alarms going off here, there's Cybermen music, and of course there's Dalek music about to come in. He's got a very distinct theme. See, Mickey's collar has suddenly got strange and big and huge, but it is the same top.
It's like a hoodie, isn't it, that pulls over
Yeah,
the top.
it's beautiful top, actually.
A sci-fi gun.
That's it.
That's the biggie.
In the script it says sci-fi gun. Am I right in thinking they had to paint the hole into it?
They did.
I think they did, because
there
wasn't a barrel.
No, when we come back to it next episode, we got the drill out. But
and here's the big reveal coming up that I'm sure isn't a surprise at all. This is meant to be like the biggest surprise in the world.
Oh, and it was when I read it, I didn't know.
Oh, you did? I got an
no
email
idea.
off you going, oh my God. Yes. I got an email off you half the way through going, oh, I'm enjoying this one. And then another one. Oh, and so all the preview tapes have had that taken off.
Right.
Because we're still trying to keep a surprise as to what happens with the final conclusion of the episode.
Okay.
But, of course, it was like, you just can't keep a secret on Doctor Who. It's good because, it just leaks. Everything leaks. And we don't know how, and we don't really care, really.
No,
it's like some faithless, unhappy soul is happy going online. Bless them. They'll never be creative.
But, I mean, your family audience don't go on the net, and they don't know.
Oh no, there'll be kids whose scalps just raise up and they drop down dead with the delight. I honestly do believe that. There'll be people who are taking great delight from that stuff. So, hooray! We'll wind down.
Okay.
Thank you, Matt.
No problem.
Was that your first podcast?
My first podcast. Thank you for being gentle.
Introduced you to a new dark world.
That's great. It's great. I get to see new Doctor Who.
Hooray! Brilliant. Thank you. Come back next week. It's not half bad.